Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Husband!
Wife!
Do you know what we're doing today?
No.
Well. That makes two of us, JK. I know what we're doing today.
Okay, good.
So we had talked about covering the Old Testament, like that we have finished reading, just for the record. I'm so excited to say that. Say it feels good.
So what do we do?
No, say
it.
It
feels really good to have finished the Old Testament.
Yeah.
So now we're going to
cover the Old Testament. No. Absolutely not. I will fucking never read the Old Testament ever again.
No,
but I will summarize parts of it and reference it. And it's really cool that we read the whole thing.
Just say again what we're kind of doing. We're putting it in like chronological order.
Yeah.
And we're going to be discussing things that we're going to cover that are like
extra biblical texts,
right? And
place them within the chronological context of when they were hypothetically and pretend world supposed to have occurred.
Sure. So specifically today, we're doing what?
Today, we are starting with the Pentateuch, which is the first 5 books of the Old Testament.
Okay.
Or the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible.
Right.
Which are the same.
Right.
And then also we're going to, again, add some extracurricular biblical stuff, non-biblical stuff.
Sure.
Into the mix.
Today. Okay.
We're not reading from any texts.
Okay.
We're doing some summarizing of things. And we're going to be real loosey-goosey from here on out with saying, so what's next week? Because...
Right. Well, we looked at how much extra shit there is between the Apocrypha and the Pseudepigrapha. And basically, if we did our podcast literally every day, it would take us a decade to cover it all.
It's too much.
So that's not what we're going to do.
The Old Testament enough was too much.
Right. We're going to cover bigger shit and stuff that we want to cover.
Yeah.
And we'll get it done a lot quicker than 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. So today we're going to concentrate on those first 5 books.
Okay.
But the majority of our attention is going to be in the book of Genesis specifically.
Okay.
And as you said, the Apocrypha and the Pseudepigrapha, and I will define those terms when we get into the meat of it, that falls... the majority of which falls during the book of Genesis.
Okay.
So that's where we're going to live today.
Well, and I wanted to say real quick, too, before we get into what we're doing. I know we have a couple, 2 or 3 even, new Patreon members. And I have not got around to... I've been so busy lately, and I just can't... I don't have time to get in there and do everything. And we will be getting to you, I promise. And
to get your greeting
you'll get your mention. I'll get your greeting to you and introduce us and all that. It is coming. I promise.
It is coming.
So that being said, you ready to get into the Old Testament?
Sure as fuck am.
Let's do it.
Okie dokie. right, so I said we're going to get into some Old Testament-y and some extracurricular biblical
Apocrypha.
shit. Yeah.
Pseudepigrapha.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's the first time you said the word pseudepigrapha. Normally,
I said it actually in the intro as well.
But normally, no, you didn't. You looked at me to say it for you.
Okay.
Because normally you're like...
I said it in the Discord also.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. But normally you look at me because you're like, what's that word again?
Right. And don't forget, we do these live. So
yeah,
you should join us on Discord every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. So just throwing that out there.
You can make fun of husband for not saying hard words. And for not knowing how to spell things. But that's okay because you can also make fun of me for getting all my facts wrong and mispronouncing everything.
But I also came up with the perfect title for this podcast.
Whatever. So. Anyway, moving on.
Just saying.
Moving on. All right. Before we get into any summaries, we're throwing the words apocrypha and pseudepigrapha around like as though we know what the fuck they are.
Yeah.
And I thought we would define those. I have defined them each, I think, loosely in the past, and I've also used them interchangeably, which I shouldn't have done, but I'm going to reiterate here and now, I am neither a scholar nor an academic.
Right. And
they are very closely related, and it's kind of like a box is a rectangle situation where
they overlap.
Yeah. One is always one, and the other may be that, but also others.
Correct.
So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So the word apocrypha comes from a Greek term meaning hidden or secret. Okay. And it's related to the Greek word apocalypse, which means revelation or unveiling. Now I'm going to say something more about that, but I have accidentally said apocalyptic instead of apocryphal and been like lambasted for that in the past. But I'm just going to put my feet down here firmly for a second and say, yes, but the terms are related, and sometimes even in places
in some
instances, the word apocalyptic is used, not in the sense of it's an apocalypse, it's the end of the world, but in the Greek word apocalypse, which means revelation or unveiling. So let me just say that again. The word apocrypha comes from the Greek term meaning hidden or secret, and it's related to the Greek word apocalypse or apocalyptic, which means revelation or unveiling. Okay. So it wasn't necessarily like off by saying that sometimes things are apocalyptic, so much as that it wasn't the best word I could have used. You still look confused.
No.
Repeat it once more?
Let's just move along.
Okay. So in biblical context, the Apocrypha refers to a collection of ancient Jewish writings that were not part of the Hebrew Bible. Okay. So that's why I keep saying like extra biblical or extracurricular Bible bookends.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So they were not part of the Hebrew Bible, but the most part they were Jewish writings, and they were included in the Septuagint, which is the Greek translation of the Old Testament.
Right.
And that's why a lot of times they are referenced and they're looked on respectfully, even if they're not in the Bible, particularly by Jewish scholars. Okay, we're still talking about just the Apocrypha here.
Well, my understanding of this, some of this stuff even only got removed from Protestant Bibles in not that long ago in history. Like they were,
Some of it, yes. I'm not getting into all of that today. Like that's beyond the scope of this.
Yeah.
Just for all intents and purposes today, we're talking about the Apocrypha that, for the most part, is Jewish writings that were in the Septuagint, but that did not make it into the final version of the Hebrew Bible.
Got it.
Or the Christian Old Testament.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Then some of them were also later included in the Vulgate, which is the Latin translation of the Bible used by the early church. So early Christians were aware of these extra texts and did reference them because they were part of their religion. They were part of their texts.
Sure.
So that's very important. And I will mention when we get to some of these, where there are even places in the New Testament that quote some of these apocryphal texts.
Okay.
Because they used to be part of the Bible.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So it's good enough for the New Testament to fucking quote it, but not quite good enough to be part of the collection. Yeah. Which I just find so fucking weird.
Yeah.
These books often provide historical, cultural, and religious context to the intertestamental period, which is that whole roughly 400 years between the end of the Hebrew Bible and the beginning of the New Testament.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So there's a 400-year gap, and sometimes some of this material will help fill in those blanks.
Well, and you were saying that you told me that, I mean, obviously we're starting in the Pentateuch, so a lot of the stuff that was written during that same time frame is going to reference stuff even earlier in the Bible. So like, it's going to reach back to the Pentateuch and stuff in Genesis and what have you.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, not all of it will fall in that 400-year period. Some of it will fall during specifically the book of Genesis, and we will be referencing those today.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
While some Christian traditions, such as Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches, do consider these writings to be deuterocanonical, which what that means is they were of secondary importance. So they still reference these books. Okay. They still recognize them as very important holy texts that are part of the tradition, but they're not genuine scriptural authority.
Sure.
So they're like, you're good, you're just not Bible good.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So some traditions, some Christian traditions do recognize that, okay?
Okay.
Even today. But most Protestant traditions, so that's your like most Christian-y Christians, American Christians for the most part too.
Yeah.
Classify them as non-canonical. And some of them may say they're useful for study, but they're certainly not equal to the rest of Scripture.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. So anyways, that's fun. So those books we can look at. Anything that we say is apocryphal, we can say, okay, that is of scholarly interest. Okay. And almost as important as the biblical text. Okay, then we get into the Pseudepigrapha.
Yeah.
And that's where we're kind of like, oh, you're cute. Okay. That comes from a Greek word as well that literally means falsely attributed or false writing. Okay. I mean, pseudo, false, right?
Yeah.
This term refers to texts that claim to be written by a well-known biblical figure such as Enoch, Moses, or Isaiah, and we will be getting into some of those today, but they were actually authored by someone else, often centuries later. Yeah.
Okay.
So now some of the ones that we're going to be talking about today were still written in the BCE periods.
Okay.
And some of them were written in the earliest of AD, like the first century AD.
Right.
So they're still fucking old as hell. But they're attributed to people that obviously could not have written them. Yeah. So that's what pseudepigrapha means. So pseudepigrapha might be apocrypha or apocryphal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it is stuff that was thought to be important but not included in the Bible.
Right.
Right? But the fact that it's pseudepigraphal means that on top of that, it was not written by the person that they're saying it was.
Got it.
Okay.
Which happens in the regular Bible too, actually.
Right.
Well, I mean, at least hypothetically.
Right.
Like they try to attribute it to those people, but you know.
Right. But this is recognized as such even by your contemporary Christian goer.
They agree.
Yeah. They agree.
That's the difference.
Exactly. Exactly. These were usually written under a famous name to lend them authority and credibility. So, you know, you want weight under it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Pseudepigrapha often expand on biblical stories, fill in narrative gaps, or explore theological ideas that were circulating in Jewish communities during the Second Temple period.
Okay.
So, like, one of the ones that we will be talking about heavily today is the lives of Adam and Eve.
So it's like Bible fan fiction?
Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Bible-y fanfic. Yeah, definitely. So we're going to read a Bible fanfic called The Lives of Adam and Eve.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And you were telling me that apparently we get to hear more about the snake and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. We're not going to read it today.
Okay.
I am going to summarize it today because I really wanted to get into...
But are we going to read it?
I want to. So
well, then we should.
Yeah, but not today.
Right. No, I gotcha. I gotcha.
I mean, okay.
But I meant is the intention that we are going to read it?
Yes. Okay. I think we should. It's short enough that I think we should take the time.
I agree.
Okay.
But how can you skip one called The Life of Adam and Eve?
Right.
Or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, whatever the hell it is. Yeah. I believe that one, I'll when I get to it, I will confirm this for sure, but I believe that one was written during the Second Temple period, but a lot of these were written during the Second Temple period.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
When they were trying to get their shit together and they were trying to fill in the gaps to make people super excited, hey, let's be Hebrew together. Remember, It was so cool when God chose us and hated us, but we like it a lot.
Yeah.
Come on, let's do this. Come on, you guys.
Yeah. I'm just going to say it again. I don't know that I would really want to be chosen by God.
No.
It was a shit deal.
I would if God never noticed me ever, because Yahweh is a dick.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. So while these writings were never part of the Jewish or Christian biblical canons, they are invaluable for understanding the religious beliefs, hopes, and struggles of the people living during the time in which they were written. Okay.
Yeah.
So it gives you an idea of what they were thinking, why they were thinking it, what their goals were, what their aims were, especially the shit that was written during the Second Temple period. Right. I mean, they were literally trying to rebuild a people.
And you said that a lot of this kind of informs the mindset and transition from the Old Testament to the Christian points of view, because it's that transition period where most of this was written too.
Yes.
So there's a lot of, it allows us a look into the thoughts that were going on that helped transition from, the Hebrew Bible to a Christian
Yeah.
So
definitely
it's that
does make it very interesting.
Which even the Old Testament, some of the stuff that we heard at the end started doing some of that too, but that might be more just because they were stealing from it. So, but regardless, it definitely, I'm interested.
I'm very interested always in when you can tell how a thing was written, who wrote it based on the words that were used. Those final bits that you can tell when it was written because they referenced a governor.
Yeah.
And you're oh, okay, so you must have been during this time period.
Sure.
Or oh, you used the Greek word for that. Oh, this happened during the Hellenistic period, which is why it was so important that we did that It's Greece, baby episode, which I'm still referencing.
It blows me away a little bit how much influence the Romans and Greeks had over Christianity, right? Mm-hmm. Because when I thought of the Romans and Greeks, I thought of Zeus and, Hercules.
The multiple gods.
Yeah. That was my whole, growing up, I'm saying, but that was my whole thought process when it came to ancient Roman and Greece.
You get books about the Roman gods, the Greek gods, and the Egyptian gods. Right.
But no, there's probably not a more influential thing that happened to Christianity than Roman and Greek culture.
Well, and watching, I know one of your favorite things to talk about is the Gnostics. Watching the Gnostics try to find a way to bridge the gap between the Greek Stoics and the burgeoning Christianity versus the old Jewish Hebrew way.
Right.
Watching that try to come together and reconcile themselves. That is so cool in a historical and literary context, not in a religious context.
Look, we all know the world that we're living in today, and none of this is cool.
No, not at all.
That's why we do this podcast. But, I have always found history to be amazing and insightful. It gives me insight into our current, what we are, who we are, how we got here, right? And as far as our current culture and the things going on in it right now, there is not much more of an influential piece of work than the Bible.
Right.
Because it is very much in our face, and we need to know all of this.
Yeah.
We need to know all of this so that we can speak to it, so that we understand the history, so that we have the ability to understand where this all came from and how we got here and where it might go.
I think that's what's so frustrating. I guess that's what I find so frustrating is that there's so much that's interesting to learn about, and we can't give time to that because we have to go talk about fucking Charlie Kirk or how Antifa was just declared a terrorist organization, or you know what I mean? Like there's all these other like, oh, the Christians are at it again thing.
Right.
And it's like, I don't want to talk about those things. I don't like it makes me angry. I want to be able to study this because it's interesting, not out of self-defense.
Sure.
And I resent that.
But I'm going to say, at least for myself, part of my impetus for this podcast was because of the political, social influences that Christianity has on our country and on our life. You know?
I probably never would have started this without that impetus. But now that we've started it, I'm mad that I can't just like...
It's a fun history project, right?
It's so cool. Yeah, there's so much cool stuff to learn.
No, it is. And
that's what I meant.
Right, but it's impossible at this point in history to separate it from politics and
in America,
and our lives, you know?
In America, specifically.
Right.
Just for our foreign listeners.
Correct, yeah.
Just want to make sure you understand.
We have a lot of people that listen to us from overseas, and they're, you know, I will say this, be careful, because I think that we are trying to export this terrible version of Christianity over the pond. Yeah. And over other ponds. And it's not pretty. It
ain't pretty. And learning how much we had to do with the Nazis during World War II really was very disheartening and shocking to learn that America wasn't this altruistic, like, let's go save the world.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like, that was grotesque for me to learn.
Yeah, no, that was one that knowledge happened to me when I was much younger, and it was it's very.
But to learn that there were people in American government who were like, Nazis are awesome, let's do it here, and let's totally be on the Nazi side of World War II.
Well, yeah, if we had, I think, I don't quote me on this exactly, but I think Lindbergh ran for president, and if he had won, we would have been basically a Nazi country. Yeah. Like that. Like that's how close we were.
We would have been Axis, not Ally.
Right. And or at least stayed the fuck out of it, like completely.
Right.
One of the two.
Horrifying.
Yeah. No, it's terrible.
But let's get back on track. Okay. So we've got our Apocrypha and we've got our Pseudepigrapha.
Sure.
Okay. Whatever. Now we know what those words mean. Let's talk about the book of Genesis.
Oh, okay.
Remember that time when we read that?
Yeah, that's like where it all began, right?
Yeah. So the first 11 chapters of Genesis are referred to as primeval history, like undated.
Right.
It's just like this nebulous that happened then. And that's where we talk about it's referred to as in the beginning is the name of that book. That's what Genesis means, because that's the first words of Genesis.
Right, yeah.
Right.
As everybody knows, pretty much, basically.
It's called Genesis because Genesis is the first words of that book.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means in the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. So primeval history, chapters 1 through 11, we get to talk about the creation of the world all the way through to the Tower of Babel. Tower of Babel. Oh my God.
We should build a Tower of Babel.
Tower of Babel. That is amazing.
That could just be like a promo video where we just knock it down occasionally.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So this is going to include the creation of, all the things.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. Then it goes on for a bit with the flood and Noah and all that, right? But wait, record scratch.
I'm waiting. Yeah.
Okay. That's chapter 4. Before we even I'm ignoring that. I'm ignoring that totally. Before we even get to chapter 4, That's where the life of Adam and Eve begins.
I don't have sound effects I can interject, so I have to make them with my mouth. And
anyway, I'm ignoring you.
Yeah.
I'm totally ignoring you. So 3 chapters into Genesis, we've got the creation of the world, we've got Adam and Eve, and we've got Cain and Abel. And then we're like, wait, but stop. Let's talk about the life of Adam and Eve. Pseudepigrapha.
Okay. Yeah. Okay? Right.
So that means like...
It's like 2 seconds later that we get into cities and,
Right? But this helps cover that gap.
Sure.
Between, hey, I just had kids, to, whoa, there's cities now.
Okay.
Okay?
I am very interested in this because, like, how do you get... what happened?
How'd that happen?
Do they cover incest?
Yes,
do they really?
do. And
really?
Different texts cover it differently, which I'm going to talk. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that too.
Interesting.
But not. Okay, this is going to sound like I am like, let's make a defense for incest, and I'm really not. I promise. Okay.
But Christians do it all the time.
No, they do.
Because God gave them a pass back then, apparently.
Well, yeah,
that's
totally.
what I've heard.
Yeah, well...
It didn't mean anything back then.
No, they don't understand what the fuck they're talking about.
No, I know they don't.
So, all right, let's just talk about it, okay? The life of Adam and Eve. It begins right after chapter 3, the expulsion from Eden. So they was just kicked out. Okay. And they're like, aw.
And to be clear, we may go back and just read this, right?
We're going to read it. Okay. Not today.
Right.
But we're totally going to read this. Okay. I need to read this.
We're just kind of summing it up right now just to kind of give the intro to
frame.
all of this, right?
Yeah, okay. Totally. Right. Okay. So, remember they were Adam and Eve, right? Like they're in the garden and they're like, oh man, like I saw you naked because I bit the thing. Right. And now we don't get, and then we lied because God's like, where are you? And they're like,
there it is.
Oh, right. And so then God's like, I see you. And they're like, don't, I'm naked. And he's like, why do you know naked? And they're like, And so they're so ashamed that God's like, get the fuck out of my garden right the fuck now.
Right, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So this is where this story picks up.
Okay.
Okay? They just left and they're like dragging their feet and they're all sad, okay? And they're like, all by myself outside the Garden of Eden.
Right, yeah.
I see the flaming gates, not for me anymore. I'm in the desert walking through the sand barefoot. Okay? It's so sad. Like, the most sad music.
Were there 1 or 2 tracks of feet?
Nobody was carrying them.
Oh, okay.
Nobody was. Jesus was not born yet.
Got it. Yeah.
They were on their own. Okay.
It's a shame they couldn't call the Jesus Uber.
The Jesus Uber. Yeah. So this book, like I said, starts right after Genesis chapter 3. The expulsion from Eden, and it continues all the way through to the death of Adam and Eve and talks about their fucking funerals and shit.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So like it covers basically a 900-year period.
Right. Because people lived for fucking ever back then.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to go back and say this because it was something that we covered at one point. Back in the Old Testament, a lot of the people think that maybe those time frames were based on moon cycles, maybe.
Yeah, I did actually read about that, but it only works with the 900-year-old people, not with but I lived to like 170 years old.
Right. Well, I feel like because there's a lot of 900-year-old people early on.
Like in Genesis.
Yeah. So I feel like when they transition to timing things differently, they were just like, well, we can't have people just live for like 900 years and not have ours live to like 200. You know, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So they're just like, they lived for a long time.
That could be. I just want to put it out there that couldn't have been the case for all of the long-lived people throughout the Old Testament.
No, I got it.
Because the math ain't mathing when we get to what's his butt, who is a quote-unquote really old man, and his really old fucking wife can't have children anymore.
Are you talking about Abraham?
Yeah.
Or / Abram?
Is that the guy, his wife Sarah? Sarai?
Yeah.
And
he tried to kill his son, you know.
Is that the one? Okay, I don't know. I don't remember. I'm not there yet. But if we turn that into month, like moon cycle instead of sun cycle, he would be fucking 14 years old. And that doesn't work. So
that doesn't work.
Right? He's not an old man, and his wife would be probably, I don't know, they married young, so 7, and she can't have kids.
Sure.
That doesn't work.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, I got it. Yeah.
So I'm just putting that out there, okay? That For the 900-year-old people, yeah, maybe it was the moon cycles.
Right.
Okay, and that would put them at like a more relatively decent age. I'm not trying to do that math right now.
No, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, this book is known in its Greek version as the Apocalypse of Moses. Now, before you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Don't forget that the word apocalypse doesn't mean like it's the end of the world. The zombies are coming and the rapture is happening. It's a revelation.
Right.
It's a information being revealed of Moses.
Okay.
So Moses is supposed to have written this Pseudepigrapha. God gave the words to him.
Sure.
God told him this story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but actually it was likely composed by Jewish writers during the 1st century BCE, somewhere between there and the 2nd century CE. So there's a 300-year period, like that 400-year period between the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Right.
Yeah, that 400-year period is when this was written.
Got it.
But it was written to explain what happened to Adam and Eve. And it's luscious. I fucking love it, okay?
Yeah.
It expands on the Genesis story and places the authorship during the Second Temple period or slightly thereafter, which is what I just said.
Okay. Yeah.
So the number of chapters depends on what version you read. The Greek Apocalypse of Moses has 42 short chapters. The Latin version, which is called Vita Adea et Avea, Vita Adea et Avea, has 51 short chapters.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I don't know if you caught it, but either version has short chapters.
Short chapters,
so 42 to 51 short chapters.
Got it.
Okay?
Got it.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
It's narrative, not just laws or visions. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
So fanfic.
Fanfic.
Just like we were saying
Total
before.
Fanfic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, here's a brief summary. Okay? Adam and Eve, they mourn their loss. Remember, I told you they're so sad. And they begin their new life in this harsh world. You know, like, they're like, we just got kicked out of the garden and Netflix hasn't been invented.
What the fuck we doing?
Rough.
Right, yeah.
I don't like it.
Right.
They try to repent through fasting and prayer. They're like, please give me the garden.
Right, yeah.
I miss strawberries so bad. Eve then personally narrates her side of the story, describing in more detail how Satan tempted her, often depicted as disguising himself as an angel of light or even entering into the serpent.
I see.
Yeah. So
I mean, as the Bible goes, the serpent was the one that convinced them.
Convinced her
to eat the apple, right?
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Right.
So.
But I just want to point out one more time, Adam was there.
Adam was there.
So I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to pin this all on Eve.
No, not at all. In any way whatsoever.
Right.
As usual.
I think that was a bullshit story.
That was such a fucking bullshit.
Right.
Everything is woman's fault.
When I found out Adam was there, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is Eve get all the fucking bad rap for this shit?
Right. And the pain.
Right.
She gets the pain of childbirth because Adam was like, oh, I'm just standing here.
Right.
Make me a sandwich? Fucking bullshit. Do we have any butter? I don't know. I can't see it. My boy eyes don't work. Oh, fucking boys. Anyway, okay, so then it goes after we hear from her. Okay, then it's like, anyways, okay, Eve, thank you for your story. That's beautiful. We're sorry at you. But okay, anyway, back to life outside Eden.
Right.
Okay, so then we talk about the birth of their children, including Cain, Abel, their sisters, who may or may not have been twins of Cain and Abel.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about that for a minute.
Okay, yeah.
The sisters are often named Aklama and Azura in other extra biblical texts. Okay. Now, I'm going to stop my interruption of Genesis to interrupt the life of Adam and Eve.
We interrupt this interruption.
Yes.
Okay.
I got to scroll down here to tell you about these chicks.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
These daughters.
The
I
twins.
was like, what? Like this. I want this. I need to see this movie. And I need this movie to happen tomorrow. I need Netflix or Hulu to get the fuck on this and make it into, if it's got to be a miniseries, I need to fucking see this story.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So.
I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Yeah.
Azura was the daughter of Adam and Eve, the twin of Abel. Okay? And both.
Wait, whoa. The twin of Abel?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
Abel had a twin sister and Cain had a twin sister.
Oh, no shit.
Like halvesies, right? Halves
What
of
the fuck?
like remember?
How does that not get cut? What the fuck? How do you just leave that out of the Bible?
Right?
What?
Okay. Yeah. And remember early on when me and you were like, what? When we had the pastor that told us about how men and women started out as this Greek thing where they were a half human, like
Sure.
half man, half woman, cut in half, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
So it goes to that-
it goes to that.
Right.
Okay. So we've got Azura is the twin of Abel, and they are both the wife and sister of Seth, who comes along later on.
Sure.
Okay. Seth is later.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. In an effort to explain where Cain and Abel acquired wives, some traditional sources stated that each child of Adam and Eve was born with a twin who became their mate. But
You're born with your wife.
you're born with your other half, like literally.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, we have to be careful with the word incest because it is not used that way in this story world.
I understand it's not used that way, but it is.
It is, right? No, it is. But, okay, you're trying to apply science to a myth.
Damn me
story.
for that, I guess.
You have to, you can't do both. You got to pick either we're talking about science, in which case none of these people exist, so who cares who they was fucking, right? Who cares?
Look,
Or
I've already picked science. That's what I picked.
But
I'm on team science.
Right. But we're going to read a mythology now which is outside of science, okay? The mythology stories have their own rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like story
sure.
worlds have their own rules which may or may not connect.
I know that if Twilight had people born with incest,
they did.
Partners.
They do.
They were twins?
No, but no, you're right. It wasn't incest. It was pedo.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I have issues with the people who have issues with that story world portrayal of pedo.
I'm just saying if they were born as twins and then, became partnered up because they were born that way.
Okay,
that would still not be okay.
But we're talking about Greek and Roman mythology that seeped into this. We're not talking about actual people as they fully exist today. We're talking about Greek god even type of things. These are not people.
Well,
okay?
so now it sounds like we're descended from gods.
Well, we are.
So then we're basically all gods ourselves.
That's why we have God within us, and that's why
No.
Yeah.
I am God.
No, you are God. No. Okay. So listen.
Okay.
So there's a Muslim tradition that adds to this.
Okay.
In this Muslim tradition, Abel was born with a twin named Azura, which that is what we already just said.
Yeah.
And Cain had a twin sister named Aklama. Okay. Now Adam was like, "What if you guys don't each fuck your own twin and you trade, maybe to spread it out a little bit?"
Wait a second. They switched up the.
Well, Adam was like, "Please don't fuck your own twin. That might be gross." Adam wished Cain to marry Abel's twin sister and for Abel to marry Cain. But
that's so weird.
Cain was like, "Nah, bitch, I want my own fucking twin to be my wife." In this story, okay? So he wanted to marry Aklama rather than Azura. So Adam proposed to refer the question to God by means of a sacrifice, and then God rejected Cain's sacrifice, signifying his disapproval of Cain's marriage to Aklama. So Cain slew his brother in a fit of jealousy, which
that's why
fits much better.
Holy shit.
Cain was like, "You can't tell me who to marry. I'm going to marry who I want."
He was pissed at God.
And then God was like...
For a better reason than, what they gave us.
Yeah, the Bible has a weird... I still never understand it.
Not that incest is a good reason, but I mean,
And this story makes so much more sense, though, right? Like, this story is like, oh, okay, it was he wanted to marry.
Sure.
Who he wanted
No,
to
it was
marry,
about who he wanted to marry.
and God was like, no.
No,
and Abel was like, this is my woman.
That makes a lot more sense.
Right?
But like, obviously they left it out because incest.
Right.
You know,
Obviously.
like you can't.
That's
you
why
can't
we
use
have
that story.
Yeah, no, that's why we
That's a terrible fucking story.
We're like, we don't know where Cain populated the earth. None of this ever happened. Just go with it. Yours is not to understand.
And you know what? You'll never hear a pastor or preacher or whatever talk about that.
Right.
I guarantee it. There's no way.
Well, this isn't in the Bible. Why would they?
Because it makes sense. Why wouldn't you talk about extra stuff that was written in the ancient times that makes sense?
Well, this is
with regard to the story.
This is a Muslim tradition. Christians don't like Muslims except for sometimes when it's convenient.
But if you're interested in the truth, why wouldn't you study stuff that's your religion adjacent? Why wouldn't you be interested in it?
I can answer this one too. Because you're
Yeah.
exposing yourself to filth. And don't ever let filth enter your eye. Something about motes in your eye and getting dirt on. I don't know.
You know what pisses me off? It's that everybody that's religious, everybody that's Christian, at least that I have had interactions with, that's really, really Christian, say that they really care, they really love the Bible and Jesus and their religion, and then they believe it all so much. But they never test their theories against the smallest things that could possibly tarnish their ideas about what it is.
Here's how you know if somebody actually loves something. Do they actually spend time with it and get to know it? If they don't really love it. Period.
No,
Period.
There's I've talked about it a million times, but there's so much hypocrisy built into people's beliefs and how they enact that belief, and the reasons behind how they just blind themselves to anything outside of what they want to hear. And there's a reason they're known for cherry picking the Bible, because it's just a bunch of bullshit that you can just pick apart so easily with all the stuff that was written in that time.
Right.
Like, this is crazy.
Yes.
Fucking twin incest. What the fucking hell is going on? This is crazy.
Listen, I'm so glad about your enthusiasm because that's how I was. When I read it, I was like, I cannot wait to talk about this. This is going to be fun. Okay, so some sources in the Eastern Orthodox tradition give the name Azura to Cain's twin sister. So Aklama, Azura, either or.
I mean, they were switching sisters. Who fucking cares or knows?
In another Muslim tradition, Aklama was Abel's twin sister, while Cain's twin sister was named Lucia. Okay. So, I mean, different names, same story, who cares? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, then there's some different even story about some chick named Anak, who is...
I recognize that name.
Anaq.
Okay.
Anak.
I think I remember hearing about Anak.
In some varieties of Islamic theology, she's a daughter of Adam and Eve, sometimes even quoted as being their first child. Oh. But she is equivalent to Lilith, as she is often portrayed as being evil.
Oh.
So that's why we don't hear about her.
Okay,
yeah.
She was the unwanted child.
I'm going to say that
the black sheep of the family.
Anak was Adam and Lilith's girl. That's what I think.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And Eve was like, I'm taking care of a stepdaughter.
I don't want no stepchild.
Nope,
get her the fuck out of here.
Right,
she can go fuck Cain, since she slew my son, precious Abel. Right?
Yeah.
And so Abel took his twin, his brother's twin, and fucking his stepsister, half-sister Anak. He took them 3 girls off to wherever the fuck he went, and he knocked all them up, and that's where the cities came from. Okay?
All right.
He had 3 wives by the time he left.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Right, yeah.
Okay?
That would definitely help, jumpstart a civilization.
Right.
I mean, more so than just one wife, and, like,
more
where the
so
fuck
than no wife. He just left. Where did she come from?
Right.
Nowhere in the Bible. Yeah. Nowhere. Right. So we just went from there were no girls to now Cain got 3 wives. I like the 3-wife theory personally.
I like the fact that in the ancient times, people were like, "Wait, we need to know the backstory here. Like, what happened?
We need that fanfic.
We need this information. So let's think this. How did this happen?
Okay, listen to me. I'm going to talk about fanfic for just a sec. This is totally nothing to do with the Bible. This has to do with Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
One of my friends made me read some fanfic. I am not generally a person who reads fanfic. I don't have a lot of exposure to it. I'm not part of that world. I have now friends who are. One of our Discord members is an avid writer and reader of fanfic, which I applaud. It's just not been something that's in my wheelhouse.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
My friend was like, no, you got to read this. And I was like, okay. And she was like, okay, it's Harry Potter fanfic. And I was like, okay, I don't know if you could see my sigh, but my sigh is like very big and heavy.
I can tell you without a doubt they cannot see your sigh.
Okay. Well, you should be able to imagine it.
Okay. All right.
And it's big and heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's like, I promise you'll like this. It's really well written. And also it's hot. And I was like, babe, I don't read fanfic. I don't read romance. I don't read erotica.
Sure.
And you are giving me a story that's all three of these and trying to tell me I'm going to like it.
Right.
It was so good and it was so hot. And it was called Breath Mints and Battle Scars. And it took place after the end of the Harry Potter saga.
Yeah.
And it talked about the PTSD and trauma that those characters suffered afterwards when they decided to go back to school and help rebuild.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's like this whole thing in fanfic where Hermione and Draco are a thing. Yeah. And I, at first, was quite opposed to the idea because that's just fucking weird. What are you talking about? Right. Like, why would this story, holy shit, made it make so much sense because they were both like reeling from the same traumas and helped each other through. Anyway, it was so good. Yeah. So no longer am I anti fanfic. It was really good. It was very well written. And I know that somebody in the Discord right now is making fun of me based on husband's face.
No.
But I stand by what I said.
It's a picture of oh god, now I'm losing the name. The big guy, Hagrid, and the only thing that's covering him is the house hat. And he's laying on a bear skin rug.
Yeah, he is. Because he's a bear. In all the best sense of the word.
This is terrible.
All right, so listen, we're going back to our first interruption. Okay? Back to Adam and Eve, which was our interruption of Genesis. Right. So we're at Adam and Eve, and they're sad, and they had kids, right? Yeah. Who are their kids? We just talked about that, but anyways... Okay, so part of their story, too, is their domestic struggles and their ongoing sorrow over the mistake they made that got them kicked out of the garden. Oh, okay. So this Adam and Eve story talks about that. Okay. Adam eventually becomes gravely ill. And because, he's old. He's
900,
like 930 years old or whatever.
Right, sure.
Yeah. So he becomes gravely ill. Eve and their children plead with God for healing. But Adam is told that his death is part of the punishment for sin. Like, that's where death comes from, is y'all done fucked up, and man is going to toil in the dirt. Woman is going to have her menstrual cycles and pain during labor. Right. And also, you guys don't get to live forever anymore. You get to die now. Sorry.
Well, I mean, to be perfectly fair here, they never got to live forever.
They were supposed to prior to the apple in the
but
garden.
they never actually got to.
They were supposed to.
That didn't happen. That never happened because they got punished.
But they were gonna get to. That's how they got to live 900 some odd years.
Sure, but yeah, okay.
So God's like, no, you no longer are immortal. You're aging and you will succumb to illnesses and shit. Right. Okay. Right. That's all he's saying. Okay. Okay. That comes with the punishment. Sure. So the angels reveal glimpses of the future redemption of humanity. So we got a little bit of like, you guys, there'll be a rapture or some shit where good things will happen someday. Anyways, back to Adam and Eve. God sends Michael and other angels to assist in Adam's burial.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the angels are there, like, and they're like, womp womp, sucks to be human, singing hymns over his grave, like.
But I mean, how many other people in history had angels, at their funeral?
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying.
Most of them got yoinked up to heaven because angels can't be bothered.
There,
Yeah. So Adam is buried in a sacred place that later becomes significant in salvation history.
What is salvation history?
You tell me. I haven't read this fucking book.
Okay.
I'm just giving you the highlights.
I mean,
we're gonna read this fucking book.
We definitely need to read the twins bit.
Well, the twins are those are a Muslim tradition.
Oh,
they're not in this book.
Damn it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we don't really get to know.
I thought you said that there was some. That's all Muslim tradition.
That's all. That's a different story, and some of that is Muslim tradition.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So, anyway, Eve, in her final testament, delivers a final speech to her children, urging them to stay faithful to God. She's like, "I'm about to die, and I have something very important to say. Don't forget about God." Okay. I don't know if you thought about that.
I don't think that God didn't really allow them to forget about him.
Have you taken the Lord as your Lord and Savior? Have you been saved? Have you heard the good news?
She was the first
evangelical.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Eve
spreading the good word.
Angelical.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, she dies and she's buried next to Adam. Okay. So the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jewish tradition states that this helped shape later Jewish thought about angels, Satan, and the afterlife. Okay. That's from the Jewish perspective is what I meant to say, not tradition. Yeah. Okay. The Christian perspective is that early Christians fucking knew about this text, and some church fathers at that time even cited it. And ideas from the text seeped into medieval Christian writings about the fall and redemption. And this book itself influenced later works like Paradise Lost by John Milton, which also gives detailed accounts of the fall and the aftermath.
Interesting.
So that's where,
so it
John
influenced
Milton,
a lot of thought.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've been talking now, what, an hour?
I wasn't keeping track. I was having a good time.
I know.
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. All throughout my notes, I have, we are still in Genesis. Because I knew how long this episode would be.
Yeah.
We may not get out of Genesis. You may be like, you know what? We can't do the whole Pentateuch. And so I have these listed. We are still in Genesis. Just to remind you. Wow. That was the first the first 3 chapters of Genesis.
Okay.
Then we did Adam and Eve. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, continuing on with Genesis. Okay.
Oh, we're gonna do more today. Is that what you're saying?
Almost. Let me just finish this up a little.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let me at least finish this part. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
So we're still in the primeval history, chapters 1 through 11.
Yeah.
The undated nebulous times.
Sure.
Right? Okay. So then we get the flood, which is Noah, right? And we get the division of the languages, which is the Tower of Babel, right?
Right.
Okay. God creates a world which is good and fit for mankind, but then mankind is grody and nasty and they corrupt it with sin. So God decides to destroy his creation using the flood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there fanfic on Nimrod?
Yeah.
Is there really?
Yes, but I don't have that in my list.
Damn it.
I will seek some out for you.
I need some Nimrod fanfic.
You do. Okay. Yeah. I honestly, I feel like I failed you in that I didn't think about myself.
You did. How could you leave out Nimrod?
Because listen.
He's the greatest hunter of all.
Because listen, I'm trying.
It's Nimrod.
He was, I know. Because I was trying to narrow this down to the most well-known and important and well-cited books.
Oh, okay. Well, we at least need to recount a little bit about Nimrod.
We need to
because it's Nimrod.
There is a book called We Need to Talk About Kevin, and I don't think we need to talk about Kevin. I think we need to talk about Nimrod. Okay? So anyway, going back to Noah, right? God saves only the righteous Noah and his family, his immediate family,
right?
Not just his extended family.
Sure.
He's like, no cousins.
Right.
Only all of your sons and all of their wives, because each of your son does have more than one fucking wife.
Right.
And all of their thousands of kids and your servants and whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, they're all dead.
Yeah. Okay. So then Okay.
Yeah.
That was just the first, like how many chapters? 4 through 11. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, but I don't know if you remember, but like there was a chapter 5. Okay. And in Genesis chapter 5, we talk about fucking Enoch. And there's 2 books of Enoch.
Okay.
That are just not included in the Bible.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So Enoch, Enoch was the father of Methuselah and the great grandfather of Noah. Okay?
If I recall correctly, it has something to do with like the first preacher or something like that.
I don't recall.
Okay. I could be wrong about that. It's been a while, but.
So first and second Enoch are Pseudepigrapha, claimed to be authored by Enoch, who was the 7th generation from Adam, but it was actually they were both written by multiple Jewish authors over a period of time, generally in that 400-year period.
Okay.
Okay. Right. The books talk about hidden visions, heavenly journeys, divine revelations, and it was written centuries after the time of Genesis during, again, the Second Temple period.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to stop here and we'll talk about Enoch when we come back? And we are still in Genesis.
So we're still just summing up the stuff that's going to be like the extra stuff that's from Genesis, right?
And we're putting everything in the timeline. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the next episode would end up being basically the last half of the synopsis of Genesis, and then we would get into reading some of it. Is that what you're thinking?
I don't know. Let's go through this real quick. Just tell you what it is, not the notes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got first and second Enoch, those books.
Yeah.
Okay. To summarize.
Sure.
Then still in Genesis, we've got the patriarchs. That's the next time period. Okay. Then we've got Job. Okay,
sure.
Because he's usually classified with the patriarchs. Because he comes roughly during Abraham or around there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Then we've got Pseudepigrapha called the Testaments of the 12 Patriarchs. We're still in Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got the Book of Jubilees. And that is way too long to read. But we will have to do an in-depth study of it. Okay.
Yeah.
The Book of Jubilees, which is a pseudepigrapha, and it retells Genesis and parts of Exodus. Okay.
Yeah.
And then that will be the end of Genesis, and we can move into Exodus.
Well, I guess my thoughts were that we were going to cover this stuff kind of linearly, and so I had envisioned, since we talked so much about the Adam and Eve story, that we would maybe get into that story next week.
Okay, do you want me to find a copy of us to read that story?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, because I think we should go from there into like the next, like we can summarize as we go along for what we need to summarize as for what we're getting into. Okay. And we just kind of cover it in a line.
Sure.
Like
I wasn't sure, like, did you even want to get out of Genesis?
I want to hear that fucking story.
I know.
So I'm like, and I think I'm not going to be the only one that wants to hear that fucking story.
Okay, I want to hear that story, but more than that story, I need to find some information about that Muslim tradition that talks about the twins.
Yeah.
I need some flowers in the attic in my life. I need some VC Andrews up in here.
Right, yeah. And if anybody out there has some good links for this shit, please send it our way.
Yeah.
Because wife's going to be just doing some studying and things. And then we're going to have an episode next week that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so like I'm going to be starting every episode for the next several weeks with we're still in Genesis.
Sure.
We're still in Genesis.
No, that's
we're
fine.
Still in
that's
Genesis.
fine. But as long as we're covering the highlights and the stuff that we want to cover, but we just do it in a line, like that's I think that would be the way to do it.
Okay.
So
cool.
But I'm really excited.
I know.
Like we're gonna get to read about Adam and Eve and then
their
twins
kids and shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm so excited that you're excited because, like I said, I was like, I can't wait to tell you about these girls. Cain and his 3 wives.
So I didn't really think that I could be really excited about going back to Genesis, but I am.
Because this is fun. Love legends and myths.
Yeah, well, and the Bible was so lacking in any creativity. It was just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, every time we read a chapter, it was like, what is this trash?
Right.
Like, what the fuck are they even... Why did that happen? That was dumb. What is this? There's so much, like, just extra information that felt like it was being left out, and it turns out it was.
Yeah. I kind of want to write a story about Cain and his 3 wives and how they're all 3. One's his twin sister, one's his brother's twin sister, and one's his older half sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I really want to write a story about that. But more than that, I wish there was a movie about it.
Right. You should get the screenplay done and contact Netflix, see what you can come up with.
Yeah, I haven't into Netflix. Sure.
Well, I'm just saying, we'll do what we can. Send it their way.
All right. We'll see what happens.
Join us next week where we talk about, twins and
Adam and
Eve or whatever the hell we're going to be talking. We're going to be doing
flowers
some shit.
in the attic.
There's going to be some things, and they're going to be doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are.
All right. That's all we got for today. Thank you guys for joining us, and I can't wait for next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.